Welcome back to my shop. Today we're going to do a little service on that Kubota BX23D, a 2006 model that I've owned, well, since new, and got a slight problem with the temperature reading. It's been reading the last couple times I've mowed. I've noticed that it's not running as warm as it normally does, and when you're in 90-degree days and that temperature isn't even at midway, you know there's a problem. Now, there's basically three things that it could be. It could be the sender, temperature sender, it could be the temperature gauge, or it could be the wire in between. Well, let's say four, and power to the gauge. Since the gauge does deflect some, we're going to say that the power is to the gauge. So what we're going to do is determine if it's the wiring, the gauge, or the sender. So stay tuned, and let's get busy. Now here's the BX23D, and this is the engine. It's a D905, I believe, 3-cylinder diesel. And right there is the temperature sender, right here, okay? And I'll show you where the gauge is located up here on the dash. And he's located right here. All right, now, let's get over this way. All right, now I'm not going to be able to do the full test with it as far as showing you how it doesn't deflect. But what I'm going to do is first I'm going to turn power on, okay? Let's turn the power on. We'll step around this side for a moment. Okay, there, we can see it better this time. Turn the power on. Notice my fuel gauge did raise. No deflection in the temp. All right. Now, what we're going to do is disconnect the wire to the sender. All right, it's unplugged. All right. Now let's see if it made a change in the reading. And it didn't. Okay, so we're still showing the same. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach down here. I'll try to show you. I'm going to take the wire here and I'm going to find a ground. And I'm going to touch it to the ground, okay, with power on. I'm going to show you the gauge. Can you see it? Because I'm going to have to stretch. Okay. All right, now let's watch it. You see it deflect all the way to hot? Off. And let's do it again. Hot. There we go. Off. All right. Basically, what that's telling me is that the gauge is good, power to the gauge is good, the wire to the gauge is good. The problem is in that sender. So I'll be right back. All right, here's the sender. See if you can make out the part number there. All right, I'll hold it steady. See if it'll focus. When I researched this to get the correct part number, it came up to fit BX22s, 2230s, 2200s, and quite a few B series tractors too. So it's a pretty standard temp sender, and it's not very big at all if you notice. All right, now the way this functions is when it's cold, it's open, and as it gets hot, it starts creating a resistance to ground. Now, there's probably a spec in the manual as to what resistance it'll be to show different temperatures. And I'm not really going to overly concern myself with it. I'm just going to go ahead and swap this out. And since it's got to go to ground, I'm not going to put any Teflon tape on it. and it is going to go into the coolant water jacket, so I'll probably get a little bit of leaking. Also, a deep well number 12, let's bring it over here, a deep well number 12 socket. We'll be able to remove and replace it. All right. All right, I've got the new one laying right here so I can swap it in there real fast. And looks like it's got some long threads. It probably would be easier if it was if the bonnet was off. I'm gonna get something to catch that antifreeze. I don't anticipate a lot, but you never know. Well, it looks like it's got something on it, some kind of sealing on the thread. Let me see if I can pull that out with my hand. Here we go. Get ready to put one in there. Yeah, it's leaking. It looks the same. All right. And in she goes. I had put a shield, a heat shield in it to deflect the insulate from the muffler, and it's actually hindering my progress here. Make sure that's the same thread. It's not starting good. It's the same. You got to get it started just right. You want it snug, but not overly tight to where you'll strip it out. All right, let me get a light to shine down in there and see if we're leaking any. All right, doesn't appear to be, but what I want to do is blow that off so I can make sure I don't see anything leaking. Right. I've got the area blown off good. Now I'm going to plug the electrical connector back up. All right. Now let's turn him on and see if what kind of display I get. It should still be ice cold. And it is. All right, what I'm going to do is start it and let it run a little bit to make sure that I don't have any pressure leak. Give it a little bit of glow plug. We'll let it run a little bit to see if it'll at least start registering and make sure it doesn't leak. starting to show some temperature, I had to run the RPM up. But 168 degrees there in December. Which was still at 148. Over the head, 165, 166. 160. But that road is not. That's the first side. That's the first side. That's definitely over. Anyway, I won't go till I get it out there and working hard in the heat to clear the register where it normally used to. But the other one was definitely registering too cool, which is what you want. You don't want it to. You want it to be real cool, not registering cool when it's not. But anyway, there we go. Now typically it'll heat up more as it sits, and we'll check and see if that deflects. I'll turn the key on here in a minute and we'll see. Key on, engine off. With it warmed up, you can see it's deflected a little bit more to the warmth, which is normal. So again, I won't know how accurate it is until I get it out there and run it. Now, when it's 90-degree days and I'm mowing up to the 4 acres, that can get within a hair of the red sometimes. And it when it gets that hot, I know I need to clean the screen out, blow it out. Most times it runs almost 12 o'clock, dead in the middle. So anyway, we'll see. All right, as you see, it's not rocket science to, or doesn't take a rocket scientist to replace the temperature sender on one of these BX23Ds with the D905 engine. It's right there, easily accessible with a 12mm deep well socket. And matter of fact, the amount of antifreeze I lost really doesn't amount to enough to where I'm going to even have to put any in. But then again, I'll just monitor it. I ran it a little higher than the in the reservoir than I normally than it says when it's cold. So perhaps that'll take that out. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, seems to be good to go. It'll be good to go out here and start knock out about another 4 acres again. So anyway, hope everything's going good with you and yours. Everything's going good here. Can't complain. Won't do me no good to complain anyway. Just carry on and take care of the business. So have a good one, and I hope to see you around on the next one. See you.